Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PWYFA Play Where Your Feet Are podcast. We are so pumped to have you listening in or watching in today, depending on what platform you're on right now, whether it's Spotify or Google or YouTube or Apple or anything and everything. We're so excited to have you guys. I'm pumped. This is my first podcast recording since going through everything. If you're watching, you see I have my lovely little orange glasses on to block out all my lovely blue light that's blinding me right now. And I am so excited for today's conversation. Now, I know I did say that my next podcast episode would be talking about my whole journey of everything I've gone through, but we have postponed that for the time being because I thought this conversation was honestly going to be more impactful for me and maybe, or I believe for you as well. This episode is so fun. It is with the Miss Rachel Awtrey, and Rachel is many things, y'all. She is a friend of mine. You'll hear how we connected, but more than just my friend, she is impacting so many people. She is an online soul sister. She's the host of Real Talk with Rach, her podcast that she has. You can see everything that she's doing on her social media. Honestly, just from being an author, a podcast host, a speaker, a mom, a military wife. She has two cute, adorable little kids, Maddox and Oliver, and is based out of Birmingham, Alabama. But y'all, we get to talk about so much today. It is a fruitful conversation that will impact you and really impact like your entire life, not to be dramatic. But she just released a book called Love Your Life Even When You Don't Like It All the Time. And it is one, going to impact so many, but two, just really God-breathed. You'll hear me say that a couple times throughout the conversation, how much that, it's yes, her story, and yes, a lot that was on her heart, but God put that there. And I'm so excited for her, the fact that she's stepping out in obedience and launching this. And I'm excited for you guys that we get to hear all about it today. So this episode is going to be so much fun. But before we get started, just a reminder, you can, of course, listen to the podcast. You can watch it as well on other platforms. But we are much more than a podcast. We have speaking engagements. We have camps, clinics, merchandise. I'm repping today. This is our Chanel little sweatshirt crew neck. So cute. And 2 books. So we have Play Where Your Feet Are, the original, How to Live a Life Full of Living. And then we have the prayer journal, which launched this March. We've got a lot going on, guys. I don't even remember everything. That's how much we have going on. But I'm so excited for, this isn't a new quote unquote season. This isn't the next season, but it is a season in a sense of the podcast, and I'm really excited. I changed my corner. I'm in a different corner, and we are kicking it off with, like I said, a great guest today that is going to talk so much about joy. So without further ado, y'all, like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff, write a review, and listen up, grab your notepads, take some notes. This is the PWYFA Play Where Your Feet Are podcast with our special guest, Rachel Awtrey. This is the PWYFA Play Where Your Feet Are podcast, and I'm your host, Cameron Dobbs. Rachel, welcome to the PWYFA Play Where Your Feet Are podcast, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Cam. It's so fun. I feel like this is our full circle friendship moment.
Crazy, dude. I was just thinking how, we of course met at Purpose Retreat, which was I think 2 or 3 years ago now, which feels like yesterday, but time flies. Time flies.
And I brought the boys, my 2 littles.
And they were so little then. Maddox and Oliver were itty bitty and the talk of the entire camp because they were so cute. But man,
Maddox
so much fun.
He's like, are we going to see the girls again? I was like, maybe one day, buddy.
One day. But it's funny because I always look back at that because Purpose Retreat has almost been like a birthing ground for the podcast because we've had Grace on, of course, Grace Valentine. We've had Brooks on, who came on and talked about dating. And then we had Daisy Triplet was actually our last episode before this one. So it's like Purpose Retreat comes on PWYFA. It just happens like that,
Yeah, I love the sisterhood. They overlap.
Yes. Well, it's been so exciting to have you on the show, and we're pumped about this. But your life has been pretty exciting lately and crazy and chaotic, but a blast because your new book. How is the book tour going? Madness?
It is so much fun. It's intense and what a cool, like, okay, for example, the other day I was traveling for this, like for some press that I was doing.
Yeah.
And at the airport, someone asked me, they're like, are you visiting or are you traveling for work or for play? And I was like, both. How cool, you know? So I really have so enjoyed it. It does feel like the merge of two of my favorite worlds, but I won't lie, it's a little intense. It's a little
It's
crazy.
crazy. How are you balancing, and we'll get into the actual book and everything, but how are you balancing like wife, mom, book, tour, everything?
Yeah. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I would say balance. Like, there are different areas and times and even like blocks on my calendar when I'm totally present in one and not the other. So, like, for example, one of the like best investments I've made in my business is just getting an office. It's not massive. She's like 120 square feet. She's so cute and small. But it's like I step across the threshold and I'm like, okay, now this is going to get my all so that whenever I step back home, I can know that I give my home my all. And so it's very hard for my brain to be like, oh, am I balancing it or not? Because I'm like, no, I'm just going to give the all version of Rachel, full send on whatever version of Rachel is needing to show up in the moment. And I'm grateful. I will also say practically though, like our community has been incredible. They text me. I think I told you this before we start recording. They'll text me and be like, wellness check. We need a selfie. I'm like, okay.
Are you alive? Are you okay?
Are you alive? Are you okay? Or they're like, hey, we have extra dinner. Like, do you want us to drop off some chicken and rice? And I'm like, I'll take it. So I think that too, part of like book prep for friends that are interested in this is you have about 2 years to really build up to what the season right now is for me. So like those 2 years, I also was training myself, training my family, training my village. Like this is gonna be a lot, and I want y'all to have my back. And also, how can I have your back in things you're walking through too? And so I don't know, it is intense, but it also has been really, really cool to see all of it play out.
Yeah, I mean, you're finally seeing everything come to fruition that has, you say this 2-year process, but I know this book has been on your heart, whether it's been intentional or not, your whole life. And so to now see it happening, I know is so fulfilling and worth it at the same time. And so we're so pumped to talk about it here on the podcast today. We actually spoke about it earlier this week on Inside South Florida, of course, the TV show I host here. And so I loved that, and it was so fun, but it's just so quick. So that little 3.5-minute segment is not enough.
I had a girl in the office with me while it was happening, and when we got off, she was like, "Whoa, that was the fastest 3 minutes of my life." I was like, "I know, right?" So,
It
yes, now we
flies
actually have some
by.
time to dive in.
Exactly. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's dive in here. So tell us, you are officially publishing this book. It's called Love Your Life, Even When You Don't Like It All the Time. You got it there. It's so cutie, by the way. Love the design. But tell us about the details. So what is this book about?
This book is about the awkward tension of having parts of your life that you don't like and also trying to live in this abundance that God has been so kind to give us the opportunity to experience this side of heaven. And to the church, I don't think we speak much to it because I think we're so focused and we're really good about talking about grief and pain and sorrow and hope. And then the joy gets kind of forgotten. It's like the stepsister. It's like, oh yeah, but like she's here, but we don't really know how to talk about her. And then I feel like in the world, when you pursue joy in the middle of life being really, really difficult, people are like, oh, she's fake. That's inauthentic. They're out of touch with reality. And I have lived in the tension of both long enough that I was like, I got to figure this out because it has to work. So let me figure this out. And I kind of leaned into it and started doing research through scripture and even like brain science and like how have we actually been created to experience this side of heaven. And it's so interesting how they all lined up. And then there was the other part of this too, where I was like, I don't want to just write another book that's research or like so scripture heavy that we feel like it's so rich and intense to read. I also wanted to write it in a very candid voice, storytelling, practicals, big sis, boss me around energy that I'm really excited about it. That's kind of like the whole snippet of what it is. Love your life even when you don't like it all the time.
Tell me about the science side of things because I hear brain stuff and neuro stuff. I mean, I'm going through my sixth concussion right now as we speak. And so to hear like studies of the brain is unreal. It's crazy. What was that like diving into the science stuff? Because I mean, we know you have a faith background, but
Yeah.
did you ever think you'd be studying the brain in this concept?
Okay, so a lot of the research I didn't make it in the books. Like you won't see it cited. Like it doesn't feel like a research book, but I took it before I even really started writing the book, I just was so interested in how we've been wired. I've always kind of been fascinated with that. I've done my own healing work on like a therapist's couch. And so I feel like through that too, I've learned, oh, our brain does have a big part to play with rewiring, unlearning, um, even neuro pathways, like the thoughts that we have over and over and over again end up basically concreting in our brain the more we have them. And sometimes those things get concreted in our brain are so unhelpful and very hurtful and create a life that's not actually true, but it's like our version of true that can get us in a lot of trouble. So then having to like jackhammer that up and replant some new pathways, neuro pathways, it has been just like so fascinating to me. And so, and then too, to yes, the faith perspective layered on top, being like, God makes no mistake. He has wired our brains to do crazy things. He's wired our whole bodies to do incredible things. So, what kind of intentionality did he put behind it? And then, what kind of gift is there for me inside of it too? That was like very reassuring that there is a creator because this stuff is nuts, you know?
I mean, it seems like this book is going to be for everyone, and I kind of assume that is. But do you have like a ideal reader in mind? Is someone really on your heart when you wrote this book, or is it just, hey, anyone and everyone, get this book, you need it?
Okay, so there's this thing that I truly believe, and this is for anyone, especially with like a project, is if it's for everyone, it's for no one. And so, yeah, I think anyone could pick up the book and they could get a very golden nugget out of it and apply it to their lives. And like, boom, there'd be super cool transformation that they'd see. However, the book really, like, secretly, if like you can hold a secret with me, it's like for the girl that feels like this is so out of touch. Like for the girl that kind of writes this off. She's like, Rachel does not understand what I'm walking through, or else she wouldn't have written this book. Or this is very fraudulent, or this won't work for me because fill in the blank. I'm like, yeah, you are the one that needs to pick up this book because you are the reason why God invited us into joy. Joy was not created for the girl that like kind of has it figured out, like could totally do it on her own. Joy was made for the girl who has like nothing else to give, who's gotten the awful diagnosis, who has tragedy in her life, that's experienced grief and doesn't know how to get her way out. This book and joy is for her, really.
Is that your story? Because I know you've been through grief. I know you've been through loss. Was that you at one point? Did you feel, you know, joy's not my story and that's just not going to be my life?
In general, totally misunderstood what joy was. I thought it was a personality trait. I thought it was something that one girl had that some girls didn't have. I thought that it was maybe like I knew it was a fruit of the spirit, but like if someone really actually had a conversation with me, like, what's joy? I was like, it's not happiness, but and then I kind of stuttered. I was like, wait, shoot, what is it? And so I went on this whole process of figuring out that joy is available to all of us. It's a gift, but it's also a skill. And yes, if I could go back to the Rachel that was walking through tragedy, that was walking through some trauma, that was healing things, seeing things, undoing things, oh, I would want to tell her, like, you're not disqualified. And in fact, joy is more of a requirement for you right now than it would be when you do end up figuring it out, air quotes. Like it's not on the other side, it's right here for you and you have to get it. And and now I do. Hindsight's 2020. But yeah, I'd say yes, I have been that girl that was like, there's no way out. This is just what life is. I'm just gonna grin and bear it. I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna survive each day. And that's hard. That's a very hard life to live.
This book and how you write it. Tell us a little bit about the structure. Is it chapter by chapter? Is it stories? Is it, questions at the end of the chapter? What does it look like when you're actually reading through the process of that?
Yeah, so I read it very strategically. That and like very much like our brains, like we have to unwire some thoughts in order to then have room to accept the truth about what things are. So for the first like third of the book, it's part one, but it's really understanding like what joy is. Like, hey, let's get on the same page here because if you skip this part, you'll be very thoroughly confused the rest of the way. You could probably jump on board, you could probably get it, but like it won't actually make the landing that it needs to if you don't actually have a fundamental idea of what this is first. So I take them through. I'm like, this is what joy is because we perhaps have gotten it wrong this whole time. This is what we do when we feel like our joy is threatened. Like I kind of go through every objection someone has to it. And I'm like, nope, it's still for you. give it to me. Nope, still for you. Who else? Nope, it's still for you. Like that's
Try me, try
I'm
me.
like literally test me because I have been the Avatar reader and like not even before I wrote the book, even after I wrote the book, I reread the book for me and we can talk about that. But so yeah, it goes through like actually what is joy? What do we do with it? And then the last part, the chunk of the book is how do you then apply it? And so it goes through very practical arenas of our life. It goes through your home, it goes through your village, your rest, your rhythms, how you play, all of it. And so that gives you an idea of very practical things that you can do starting right now that you'll over the longevity will see the shift of your life start to happen, which is like I can say it works, which is wild.
Rachel, you mentioned the rests and rhythms. That part alone speaks to me because I know that's so needed. In fact, I think it was Ben Stewart wrote a book that's literally called Rest and Rhythms or Rhythms and Rest, and it's incredible. And so I'm excited to dive into this one of yours. But you said just then that you read it back for yourself.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Yeah. So they tell you that you don't write through it if you don't want to go through it again. So they joke. They're like, if you're gonna write a marriage book, make sure that you're in marriage counseling. Like if you're gonna write a parenting book, bubble wrap your children. Like it is just wild how the enemy will almost like
Wow.
pick at what we are pretty sure we're confident about and are trying to put words printed on pages in bookstores about it. The enemy's like, are you sure about that? And so it felt like this weird Job season where like my faith was being tested. Like, am I sure about this? Am I so sure that I want to go so public with this? And so I wrote the book and it was great. Actually, that season of my life, I would say fairly easy. I look back on pictures, I'm like, she didn't even know what was coming. And I turned in my manuscript. It was like a certain, which is first draft for our friends that aren't familiar. As soon as I turned in the first draft and I started getting edits back, things in my life kind of started like peeling away, getting picked at, falling apart, hitting the fan, however you want to say it. It was wild. It's crazy. I was like, what is happening right now? Um, to the point where I made the edits, which was actually hindsight so kind that the Lord would ask me and have me go through some really hard things so that as I'm editing the book, I'm also culling through, is this helpful for me? Like, is this bogus and it sounds cute, or is this actually applicable truth with a capital T that is going to be universally true for everyone? So that was really interesting how the Lord used that to refine even what ended up being in the book. But then afterwards, there's like this weird 6 to 7 months that you don't see the book. So it's like you've been through the editing process, then you're picking out the colors and the title, and you're working through some marketing things, and there's other meetings, but like you don't really see, you kind of forget what the inside of the book is unless you've printed it out yourself and start reading it. So I didn't. I didn't do that. And that's when life actually got so hard. I went through some pregnancy loss, some really big health scares. My husband lost his job. Like we had a weird friendship thing happen, just like things just started getting very rocky. Then the last part of the story is I was then asked like, hey, come to Nashville, record the audiobook version. And Kim, when I tell you, I went in so anxious. And I remember texting my prayer village. It was like, I feel so anxious. I hope it works. Like I'm so far removed from the words, from writing them, but also from truly experiencing like the overflow of joy that like this has to work for me. Or else, what do I do? Do I recant it? Do I cancel my book contract? Do I pull it off the shelves? Because if it's not helpful for me, it's not helpful for her because I am her right now. And I remember my friends just covered me in prayer and I read through the audiobook and it was like a balm to my soul. And I got to the end of it and I just wept for two reasons. One, it works. And then two, I felt like a bit like a fraud because I was like, my name is on this book and it was so profound for me right now. And then I got this huge humility wave rush over me where I was like, what a privilege to put a name on a book that the Holy Spirit wrote just with my hands on a keyboard, you know? And I say that because like, first, I don't want to take credit, but two, I can tell you, no, actually it does work. Like I was tested and it works. So all that to say, that's my story. Like that's how I'm like, oh no, I am beyond confident without a shadow of a doubt that this is I don't know. And I feel like I'm allowed to say it, even though like it's my own project. Like, it's not even like a shameless plug. It's so strange and bizarre how those were the exact words I needed to read because the Holy Spirit helped me write it.
Yeah, it's like the Holy Spirit. It's funny because you mention, I mean, not funny. It's God is just so specific and detailed and incredible that, I mean, you've touched your story. You had loss before you wrote this book, so you've gone through things, but then you had lost as you're working on this book. And so as you're reading, it's almost like you said, like God prepared you to once before go through that, but also, hey, I'm downloading this information because you're going to have to go through it again. But you're prepared. Yeah, yes. Yeah. And so to read that while you went through it, it's a sermon to yourself. You said, I am her. I am her. So now knowing that her isn't only you and that other people are getting their hands on this book, how does that make you feel? Other people are reading it.
Yeah. Really expectant, really excited. Like you said, I went through a loss before and I've been through loss after even this book. And what's so interesting too, Cam, is I'm like reflecting on the version of Rachel when she was learning these things that experienced loss and the way she coped and the way she reacted and the way she like emotionally bounced back. So different, uniquely different than the version of Rachel now on the other side of transformation that it can't apply these things. It is an overflow. These are habits of my life. These are the only ways that I feel like my family knows to live now. And I've been through hard stuff that were equally as heavy as the hard stuff before, but the weight of it was different. And it's just so crazy. So this is not, I even say this in the beginning, like this book is not to bippity boppity boop fix your life. This is so that you can lean in that although your life doesn't change, your mind actually can. And that changes everything, not your circumstance.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, that's the key anyway, because you can't change. You can only control what you can control. And one of those biggest things that you can is your brain, is your thoughts, is your attitude about things. And joy is one of those things. You know, the Bible tells us we're not supposed to have joy in our circumstances. Joy comes from God. And so to learn about that and learn, like you said, like how the brain works in that and how it's practical advice to do that is incredible. So as people are reading through this book, I know there are literally many parts to it. But what would you say is like your key takeaway without spoiling the book, but what's a key takeaway that viewers or readers can take away?
Yeah. Okay. The main phrase that I almost wish was the subtitle now, but it's not. Too bad. Next book. No, I'm just kidding. It's the phrase that you can nod to the hard things without bowing to them. And I think for so many of us, we have circumstances and situations and things in our life, diagnosis, whatever, history, that we're like, oh, I guess that's just who I am. Like, it's just that's just the story I'll tell. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, pause. That is not what owns you. Let me make this clear. Like, that is a part of your story. You're right. Can you change it? Absolutely not. And I'm not asking you to. But what I am asking you to be very careful of is what you give your power towards. Like, what are you going to bow to? Are you going to bow to your circumstance and say, I guess that's it? Or are you going to bow to the God of circumstances that is above all, that we're told, like, take heart, I have overcome the world, who actually deserves our knee that we take? Like, when you take that approach, your posture changes. And I think of almost like an athlete in a weight room. You'd like this, Cam. An athlete in a weight room, like we could both be squatting the same amount of weight, right? The difference in how we do it is someone that prepared well, who this is not their first time in the gym, first time with the equipment, meaning I want you to practice joy before you have to use the joy. Okay. Yeah. Number two is our posture. Like the way that you're actually lifting it changes the way that your body holds it. Okay. So like, how are you actually lifting the things in your life? That's where the practicals come in. I think of like a spotter. Like they're not even touching me, but just the fact that I know for a fact that I have someone that's got my back in case stuff happens changes my confidence while I lift. So like, do you have people built into your life to do this well? We're lifting the same amount, just the way we're lifting them looks and feels completely different. So again, I'm not asking you to change the weight of your life. That's impossible. I am asking you to change how you carry it. And so again, you can nod to the hard things without bowing to them. Please, dear God. Like that is the one thing. I'm like, let's just all put it on a bumper sticker. Okay.
She's preaching and using sports references. Come on.
Come on. Hire me FCA.
Yeah, let's go. I'm here for that. We'll bring you in. Come to Miami. Oh my gosh. No, that's really so good. And I love that you said that phrase, the fact you can nod bowing. And I think that's been on my heart a lot recently too, going through everything I've gone through. And it's funny, back in April, before I even got injured, I was actually supposed to host my first retreat for Play Where Your Feet Are. And it was just kind of, a small little retreat, only literally 4 girls, like almost like a test run of just, close friends that I could kind of build up to be counselors one day. And we were so excited. I mean, y'all, I had the PowerPoints ready. I had the rundown. I mean, everything was set to go. And like 3 days before, we had to postpone. And it hasn't happened yet because of everything as well. But we had to postpone. And part of that, though, we were going to have a dinner one of the nights. And it was going to be a celebrate something dinner, where basically at the dinner table, every girl, we'd go around and we would celebrate something and emphasize the joy of playing where your feet are, and just the fact that, there's always something to celebrate, no matter what your season looks like. And while I was planning this, I was talking to someone about it. And they had mentioned well, what if someone doesn't know what to say and doesn't have something to celebrate? I was like, no, there's always something to celebrate. Mm-hmm. And so that phrase just stuck in my mind. There's always something to celebrate. And I kept thinking about it, but wasn't intentional. It just came up. It would pop in my head at random moments. And then fast forward a week and a half later, I get my 6th concussion. Fast forward even more, I'm in the hospital, I have stroke symptoms, I'm going through everything I'm going through, I'm crying every day, life just does not look great for Cameron Dobbs. And I just keep this phrase in my mind, though, there's always something to celebrate. And the whole story is one for another day, but it just built in my mind to become something even bigger. And it all came together with my first Celebrate Something soiree that I had over the weekend. And I had girls come, and we did just that. We all just declared what we're celebrating in this season and what God is doing in our lives. And it was so beautiful, but I said something similar to the fact of, hey, we're not ignoring the tough. We're not ignoring the hard. We're not saying life is rainbows and butterflies and everything's perfect. It's like your book, Love Your Life Even When You Don't Like It All the Time. So it's okay if we're going through things that we don't like. It's okay if not every part of our life is perfect. In fact, I'm sure it's not ever. Right. But it's the fact that we can still celebrate something, that we can still turn our eyes to something we do love about our life, that there's, at the end of the day, joy that surpasses our understanding and joy that surpasses our circumstance. And that's what comes from God. And the fact that you're teaching people not only, hey, this is available, but hey, here's how you can get it is so beautiful, Rachel. It's so God-breathed. We're pumped to get the hands on the book here with PWYFA as well. But this is also something that's more than just a book to you. It's your life, as we've touched on. It's not just the words that are being put onto pages. You've been living this for your life. And so I'd love now to get to know you a little bit on our audience for more than just Rachel, the author, but what you're doing. I mean, you have a podcast, you create socials, you do stuff on social media, you have a beautiful turnaround testimony. We've touched it already. I mean, you've gone through loss in your life. You're a military wife as well. You have a lot to you. So
she's multifaceted.
Oh my gosh, she's incredible. So let's go back to, where did becoming this online soul sister really begin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Spark Notes testimony. 2-minute testimony. I was raised in a super charming home. We watched VeggieTales. We prayed over our meals. I followed Jesus because that was the only life I knew. My dad was really sick when I was growing up. And so I kind of had this concept of okay, life's not forever. People get sick. I guess that's my hard thing. And my dad actually ended up receiving a kidney transplant that totally turned our whole life around. That's actually how I met Jesus, and he became so real, was my dad explained to me, hey, because this other woman gave me a part of her body, I'm able to live to the full and not be hooked up to medicine and machines and monitors. Similarly, you have a transplant that's needing to happen in order for you to live all the way to the full and not live sick. And that's what clicked. So I was like, yes, you're right. I need Jesus. Accepted Jesus, moved on. 8 years later, he was in a really random accident. He passed away in a rock climbing accident, and my family grieved very messily, and there was decisions made that I fell in the collateral of, and just damage was done and trauma started happening. And so it went from very charming to very traumatic very fast. And I made really awful mistakes. My early adulthood years, I just was trying to figure out, do I believe what I believe? I was trying to figure out how to weasel my way out of consequences from behavior. I was so confused, made strange friends that didn't encourage me the best way, yada, yada. Fast forward, I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart, who we were on and off, long story, through this whole time. So, like, he actually wasn't with our family when we were facing all the stuff we were facing. Thomas and I are married today. We got married very quickly out of college. We worked in ministry. He had a quarter life crisis and he's like, I want to be a pilot. And I was like, great, awesome. Like, what? That was not part of our premarital counseling. And I think that was the first time that I had to stare fear in the face and be like, do I want to accept and assume risk over another person that I love? And I just had to go through my own that's what started my healing process of like, maybe I have given this story and narrative way too much control in our life. And it's actually about to determine the calling on my husband's life. And I can't deal with that for the rest of my time here on earth. Like, that is not, no, Lord, take me out of the way. And that looked like me having to lean in and like do the work, unlearn things, relearn things, apologize, reconcile. Like, it was messy. All while navigating military life and marriage. And then I became a mom in the middle of all of it. And which led me to like a deeper hole where I was like, shoot, actually, other people do rely on Rachel being her best Rachel. Other people are relying on Cameron being her best Cameron and our friends listening to be the best version of you too. Not because we're performing, but because that's what an abundant life this side of heaven looks like. That's what evangelizing could look like, is you saying, yes, this is what's happening, but no, that's not, again, what's going to own me. I'm going to do the work and show up because I know there's something greater, aka Jesus, that has like paid the price for me to be able to live that life, and I'm not going to waste the price. And so that's where all of this started happening. I was like, okay, I'm just going to try stuff. And the online soul sister was messy, and I brought people in and I invited them into like the whole thing. I was like, well, I'm going to paint my dining room green. I hope this makes me more joyful. And then turned out it did. And there's like a story that God revealed to me in the middle of that too. That big risk starts with small risks. So like, what small risks are you making in your life? And then I just kind of started collecting all these like things, like little parables, like in my life that God was just trying to pursue me with. And I was like,
Um,
wait, he's in pursuit of all of us this way too. Maybe I'll just share the stories on socials because that's the best way these days. And turns out people were like, yeah, I need to hear that. So hear me say, when I write a book called Love Your Life, even when you like it all the time, and you might follow me starting today, you're going to see a very charming life. You're looking at a product. You have not seen the process. There's a lot of private process that happens behind. The product can be yours too, but the private process has to be something you sign up for as well. So, and that's the book. I'm just trying to make the private process a little bit more public.
It's so good, Rachel. And I think I forget whether it was Don Cherie or Rich Wilkerson, one of the Wilkersons. I go to
One of
Boo
them,
Church.
they're both
Yeah.
fabulous.
I go to Boo Church in Miami and I'm blanking on which one it was. But and I think it might have honestly been a series and they both kind of tackled it a little bit. But they talked about the heart work, not the hard work, but the heart work that comes from the hard work. And you touched on some of those for you. You had to, relearn things, you had to reshape your mind. What was like one thing that you feel like really changed your life, of either a lie that you used to believe or a framework of your mind that you had that you have no longer? What was one of those mental shifts for you that you were like, looking back now, you're like, wow, that was pivotal?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to wait for the billboard things. So kind of going back to like your celebratory, like, what are we celebrating? There's always something to celebrate. Yeah. I was waiting for like the big, big moment, the birthdays, the billboards, the like big. And missed so many what I call breadcrumbs. Like, when you just start kind of collecting breadcrumbs, they turn into a loaf. When you collect enough loaves, like, you've got a feast. And so I think I just like missed all the little breadcrumbs waiting for the billboards, for lack of better terms, that I started counting things as more important or less important, and like, this is going to be more valuable and this is more of a priority, and I was not using discernment. And it's interesting because now I live a life where I'm like, the weeds on the side of the road that looks like flowers, the fact that my friend dropped off sourdough bread on my front porch, like the fact that I found a lip gloss that I was super excited about that I forgot about in a random purse, haven't used, like those little things.
Yeah.
I think we, especially as believers, we're like, that's so frivolous. Like, that's not that big of a deal. Like, God's not there. And I'm like, that's not true. Like, that's not true. God delights in details. We live in a broken world. And yet, He left behind all these incredible small things that we didn't deserve or earn, or He did not have to leave behind, but He did. Why? So that we see Him, so that we see Him pursuing us in the middle of the brokenness. It breaks His heart that we have to live in this earth and experience hard things because that's not how He designed it. But He knew it was going to be this way. So He left little breadcrumbs for us to pick up along the way. And I don't want to miss the breadcrumbs because those moments add up to when I do hit what am I? Travesty, tragedy.
Travesty, tragedy, both of them, all the above.
You know what? I've got something tucked in my back pocket for this. Like, the scoreboard for the good is way higher than the scoreboard for the bad. Like, I can actually do this because I wasn't so tunnel visioned on what was next that what was in my peripheral was blurry. Like, I want to be so here, which is like you, like play where your feet are, like just be here, you know?
Yeah, and I love that you touched on the scoreboard too, because I preached a sermon last year, I think it was, to FIU, Florida International University, and I called it "The Stats Don't Lie." And it was talking about how God's history of just doing miracle after miracle after miracle, the stats don't lie. And like you said, those breadcrumbs that were given, the same goes with the Bible. We can cling on to that word, whether it's your story or not. We have proof. We have the stats, and they don't lie, that God's done miracle, sign, and wonders, and He'll do it again. He's doing them again. And that's what we're able to do with, celebrating something or telling of your testimony, Rachel. That's why it's so needed, because when you don't have belief in your own life that God's going to work something, you just sharing your testimony that He is doing that, someone will see that and be like, He is still God. He is still working. He is still
He's doing
moving.
something in me too.
Yeah, exactly. And so looking back, Rachel, at everything in your life, I mean, from the book to the podcast to business side of things, marketing side of things, military wife, motherhood, everything in between and more, all of the things. What do you think that God has really taught you through it all? As you get to this point now, as you're publishing your book, what have you really felt like was your life story till then?
It's interesting. I feel like my brain just goes straight to scripture, Nehemiah 8:10, and it says, "The joy of the Lord is my strength."
Yeah.
It's not like how well Rachel can control it is what's going to make her stronger. It's not how hard things are that you're walking through that's going to make you more resilient. It's like it's like the joy of the Lord is your strength. Don't overcomplicate this. Like, don't be so wise that you miss it. And so I think I just have learned to like embrace fun, not forsake it, like not think that I'm any more wise or noble because I'm like not playing. And yeah, and that like it's where joy is that my strength, or the joy of the Lord is that my strength will also lie. And I'll even look at like the life of Jesus. Like, it was the joy set before Him that He was able to endure the cross. Like, the joy of the Lord was His strength too. So it surely can be ours. So yeah, that would be like the sum of, I feel like, what I've really learned.
Beautiful. Don't be too wise to miss it. That's such a word too. Man, we can so often, I think it goes back to you saying even how like, hey, I found my favorite lipstick or lip gloss, and like, oh, that's too frivolous. Like, no, like God delights in you delighting in things. And I almost think of it as, again, going to scripture of Jesus's first miracle was turning water into wine. And you would think like, well, oh my gosh, I mean, he raised from the dead. He raised other people from the dead. Like, He did all these great miracles, but His first one was water into wine. And like, it's so simple, yet it's a huge miracle. And that's just something that, hey, those people wanted their wine. They were at a wedding. They wanted the party to keep going, and He did it. And He was able to bring just little joy, little happiness, little fun, little play out of this little miracle that made a big difference in people's lives. And so, yeah, it can be the breadcrumbs, it can be the God winks, or it can be the huge billboard moment that may or may not come eventually. But looking at everything in your life right now, whether it is the lip gloss, whether it is the coffee from a friend, or your kids, or time with your husband, or the book, what are you loving about your life right now? You got to end with something joyful and fun.
That's so sweet. Oh, oh, that's so good. Like, which one do I choose? I have like three floating around in my brain. Um, it has been really cool to I wish time travel was a thing. I want to go back and tell my earlier self. I just want to like take a picture of like my everyday, which is walking downstairs, grabbing coffee, having my boys ask to snuggle me, making a smoothie together, doing a little dance so it doesn't scare them. Like just these small little things. And I'm like, this is so cute. This is so cute. Like I'm just like, this is so much fun. Hard, but fun. And I think just like the joy of it all is I don't want to say like, oh, I've made it. But also I think the joy of it too is looking at those moments almost out of body and being like, ooh, I should have messed this up. Like this was not supposed to be my story if it went the way that it was supposed to go. Um, or like my decisions almost should have made it go. But even just like to see God rescuing me and I don't want to miss the gift. Deep, but I think like that's kind of what I'm loving. A lighter one that I'm actually really loving is my electrolytes. I know that's like super frivolous, but I have found some electrolytes that I love and like my body craves them at 9 a.m. It's very weird.
You gotta spill the tea. What electrolytes? Come on now.
They're Element. You can get them on like
Yeah.
Thrive Market, Whole Foods. They come in like individual packets. They're
Yes.
great. The raspberry flavor, that's the one. It's like at 9 a.m. almost on the dot. I look at the clock, it's like 9:03, 9:04, 9:01. Like my body's like, I need a crunchy ice, like raspberry Element electrolyte. It's weird.
I love
But
it. It's
they
funny.
have been, especially in this busy season, oh yeah, see, stay hydrated.
Yep, hydrate or dihydrate. I also drink. So I did liquid IV for a while, and then I just switched to, oh, I'm blanking on it. That's the concussion speaking. It's like the people that I think, Hydramate, I think. I think it's the people that make Hydro Flask. They created Hydramate. And then, but I've had Element too, and it's really good. It's really strong. That's the strongest I've had. And so for me, it goes like 2 bottles.
Yeah, so I dilute it
Yeah,
majorly.
I
Like I
had
fill up an entire like 40-ounce bottle and do one packet. One packet's supposed to go to like what, 20 ounces? Yeah, so like I overdo the water ratio on purpose because it is very salty and very pungent.
Yes, yes, but it's so good. It's so good. So I echo. I love that. I love that for you. I love that for me. I love that we're staying hydrated and
Hydrate
talking
or
about
dihydrate. I'm
Jesus.
adopting that. That's so cute.
Okay, well, I think a big part of loving your life is also finding the play in it. I mean, you even mentioned it with your boys there, the little dance, little things like that. And like we said, it's also not ignoring the hard. Playing where your feet are is where your feet are. So it's not saying, hey, life's perfect and I'm playing in a perfect little life. It's no, life is really hard, but I'm going to play in this. I'm going to celebrate something. I'm going to love my life even when I don't like it all the time. And so tying these two passions, mottos, mantras, life lessons together, Rachel, what do you think that play where your feet are means to you?
Oh, so good. One, I think it means being present, like playing where your feet are. I hear like play right here, presently. And I also like the word play just sticks out. Yeah. Like, what would it look like? I guess my question for people listening would be like, what would it look like for you to honor the little girl that's inside of you that one day just grew up and stopped doing the things that she loved to do? Like, maybe it's you still dance even though you don't do it competitively. Or like, maybe it's you like go and get some scrapbook supplies or like a cool coloring book. Like, I know it sounds so random, but that actually in a lot of ways opens up our brain to like more efficiency and productivity and imagination and all of that God wants to use. So I'd ask you like, yeah, what is it that like as a little girl or a little boy, if you have a guy listening, like what was it as the little version of you that could be honored today doing what they loved to do that one day you just decided you didn't want to do anymore? So I love the play.
And that's practical advice too. And so, going off of that a little more, is there I was going to ask you this question, but I feel like you just answered it with that, but I'll ask you in case you have more. What advice do you have maybe for those that hear that and are like, wait, how do I do that? So you mentioned a little bit of, okay, maybe it's a dance, maybe it's something I did when I was younger. Is there other practical advice of how to actually play where your feet are in the season that you're in?
Yeah. I mean, goodness, like if you have a neighbor with a trampoline, jump on the trampoline. I'm like, I also don't want to overcomplicate it. It's so not formulaic. Like, go to a trampoline park. They have like $5 days sometimes. Like, go and free will is a thing. Like, go get a midday little ice cream treat, right? Or like, go on a walk in your yard or in the grass with your shoes off. Like, do these kinds of things that feel a little rebellious. You're like, because I think it also makes us more brave in the long run too. So grab the coloring pencils, sign up for the knitting club, join a running club if you like love sports, like go find a rec center, get on a basketball team, like do something that for no other reason, for not productivity, you lose track of time. It is just so much fun. Like that is like a practical thing. Like it exists out there. I have so many friends that do very fun things just for the sake of fun. And yeah, look on Facebook. There's Facebook groups out there for all kinds of stuff that you want to do. So
And that's a word for someone that is full of control and time management and wanting to just, be forever productive. And I'm talking about myself. It's so important to just do things with no agenda behind them. No agenda. It's not for commission. It's not for your business. It's not for networking. It's not for anything but just maybe you, which sounds selfish, but I think that's where we have to rewire our brain. We get so stuck in this idea that like, I can't do anything for myself because I have to be selfless and give it all to everyone else, which is true. We need to be selfless, but you can't give if you're not first being, poured into. And so do something for yourself today. Like she said, get yourself an ice cream cone. We're here for it.
I want my boys to look back and be like, my mom was a lot of fun. And in order for them to think that, I actually have to go out and like pursue fun and like really find something that I laugh at and things like that. I don't want to be the serious, sad, beige mom. So that's not my legacy. So like I got to do my work, and you do too. Like what's your character? How do you want people to talk about you?
Well, you are fun, Rachel. Let me tell you that. You're fun. It comes across. Don't worry. But
cool mom.
Yeah, you are a cool mom. You're not a regular mom. You're a cool mom. Get your video camera out. Come on. Rachel, this was a lot of fun, too. So much fun having you on the podcast today. It was, so impactful, I think, to hear more of the story behind the book, and just makes me even more excited to get my hands on it. And I know everyone who is listening believes the same. And I think you hear a lot, too, about you can buy a book for several reasons. One is for the message that it's putting out, but two is for the person behind it. And I think both sides are excited for this. They're excited to read this. It's so needed. And like I said, so God-breathed. I think that God put it on your heart. It wasn't just something that you created. I think he's truly just put the story in you and in your life. And now you're, like you said, you're a vessel to tell it, which is such a blessing. And you're doing so out of obedience. So I applaud you for that. But I also think that people who know and love you without even knowing the book contents are going to absolutely pour themselves into this, because it's you, and we love you and we support you, and you are fun, and we do see you be authentic and honest and go through hard things while still advocating for this joy that we can all be in touch with as well. So we know the podcast might be ending today, but where can we go to continue following you and, of course, get our hands on the book?
Yeah. Okay. You can get the book wherever books are sold. You can also go to rachelawtrey.com/book, and they're all linked there. We also are doing a book tour, so check out to see if we are coming anywhere near you. We're hitting up lots of different cities. It's going to be so much fun. We can hug. I can sign your book. We can meet, mingle. There's a little special guests and surprises and delights, and I'm not going to say too much at each stop, so you're going to want to be there in person. But like literally a big dump of all of the book stuff is rachelawtrey.com/book. And then, the podcast, it's called Real Talk with Rachel Awtrey. It's wherever you listen to podcasts. And again, I love socials. Come hang out on Instagram. That's where I have the most fun.
We love it, and we love you, Rachel. I'll end it here. Thank you so much for being a part of the PWYFA family, dear Lord. And any final mic drop moments from you? We'll give you the floor.
No, Cameron, you're so good at what you do. It's so fun to be a part of your world. And the people that are listening, like, you're in for a treat. She's the real deal. Just want to honor you. You're doing great.
Thank you, Rachel. Thanks for coming on the pod. We love you.
Love y'all.
How good is Rachel? She is just so good. I mean, her story, her heart, her authenticity, her honesty. Y'all can stay way up to date with everything she's got going on, this book and beyond. Catch her at the book tour, meet her in person like she said, but go check it all out on her website, her socials, and learn more about her. This is 45 minutes worth of a podcast with her, but there is so much more to her from just even daily life that I believe you should be following. You want someone who's worth following, and Rachel Awtrey is your girl for you. So check her out, and while you're online, make sure to check out all things at Play Where Your Feet Are on Instagram and playwhereyourfeetare.com. We're so excited for you to be a part of the family, listening in, supporting, and let us know how we can support you. We love you guys. This is a sermon to myself every single time, but also we know it's impacting so many. So We love you. We appreciate you. We celebrate you. Y'all be blessed and play where your feet are.